see them, try and spend more on like a on what's he called? What's he called?
Oh yeah, what's he called?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cooking Notes podcast. My name is Benji and I'm joined today with Zach. How you doing, Zach?
I'm all good, Benj. How are you?
I'm really good. And James with us as well in his Kings 11 Punjab outdated shirt. Can I represent?
Absolutely.
How are you, James?
I'm brilliant, mate. How about you?
Yes, good. So we're continuing on in our reaction to the IPL auction, and today we are talking about Gujarat Titans. Before we start, let's just remind you all to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop us some comments as you go through. But James, start us off. What do you think about Gujarat Titans? How do they do?
They did. That's going to be my conclusion. I think they had a really good few players in there, and they've got like a really solid opening partnership. They've got Gill and Jason Roy. That's brilliant. And they've got a lot of good players, but I'm struggling to see how they can balance their squad. I think that was the main thing that they've potentially failed at in the auction. I'd say potentially we're looking at the weakest side in the IPL because they haven't really got a balanced team, which is quite surprising, really. But it just looked like they kind of went in for a few players because they were like, we should, these are good players. I'm talking about the likes of Lockie Ferguson, who they paid 10 crore for. They paid 9 crore for Rahul Tewatia, which I think is horrendously overpriced for him. And, just a few other players that they really went hard at. But their auction strategy just seemed very sporadic. And then they kind of got to towards the end of the second day, and they were like, oh, wait, we need a wicket keeper. So they kind of just panic bought Matthew Wade and Riddiman Saha as well. So I don't think they're poor purchases at all, but just the way they went about their auction, it all seemed a bit frantic and a bit poorly planned. So I hope they do well, because I like to see a competitive league. You never want to see someone that's just an easy win on the checklist. But I'm just not sure how they balance their side. I don't know what you think, Zach.
Well, they had very good 3 players in Shubman Gill, Hardik Pandya and Rashid Khan that they were going into the auction with. They had the young Indian talent up top opening the batting. They had Hardik Pandya, who is very good lower order finisher, can also bowl you a few overs if he's fit. And also Rashid Khan, best leggy, best spinner, arguably, in the white ball game. So they had that really good core. And I think, like you said, James, some of their picks were a bit meh. They didn't buy anyone exciting, I guess we could say. It's not like Kings 11 Punjab splashing out on a few players, or Punjab Kings, let me correct that. Splashing out on a few players, or like players like Deepak Chahar going for loads of money. And they didn't do it without trying. But when you look at their overseas players, other than Rashid Khan, potentially Lockie Ferguson, they don't really have anyone in that overseas slot who I feel like will consistently perform. They've got a lot of replacements, like if you think about Matthew Wade and Jason Roy, both able to open the batting. They've also got David Miller, who is a good overseas player, but he's not proven himself consistently. So they've got bits and pieces cricketers. They've not got a standout player, and I think that could be an advantage because everyone kind of has to chip in, or it could be a disadvantage because they don't have someone consistently winning them games. I think it will all depend, like you said, with the balance, it all depends on whether Hardik Pandya can bowl. Because if Hardik Pandya bowls, that allows so much more flexibility within who they pick for their final 11.
Yeah, I think David Miller was one of the worst buys in the whole of the IPL auction. I've really changed my tune on David Miller because last season I was saying, yeah, he's good. He offers that lower order hitting. I mean, he hit one of the fastest hundreds a few years ago, but I think he's really past his peak. I'd have preferred to see them bid, and they paid 3 crore for him. I'd rather see them, spend that money on like a Robin Powell rather than like a David Miller, who's a bit past it. They were in a bidding war at that point with Rajasthan, and it's weird that we're saying this about a team that has got Rashid Khan, Jason Roy, Mohammed Shami, Lockie Ferguson, Hardik Pandya, and Alzari Joseph, all who are like insanely good players. But yeah, I think you're both right. Like they've just got a lot of big names and not a lot of mesh between them all. On some positive notes, I think Sahar batted really nicely for Sunrisers last year, especially when they lost a bit of that opening power when they dropped David Warner. So I think Sahar might provide them a bit of stability in that top order. It's an odd team. Will be interesting to see how they do. I think they're definitely missing a little bit of Indian experience in that side, apart from Shami and Pandya. That's really all they've got. So yeah, I don't think Gujarat Titans had the best auction. I don't think they had the worst auction. There we go.
I don't know how much they're actually relying on Rahul Tewatia, who isn't he's not played for India. He's not played any international cricket. He's obviously experienced in the IPL and he's done well and played some really good innings, but he's to spend 9 crore on Rahul Tewatia, I think that's too much. I think if he has a great season, then it's obviously going to be worth it, and we'll see. But I don't think he's worth that much. I think they could have focused on another player who might fulfill something similar. I guess he's the spinning all-rounder, can bat, finishing innings. Like him, if you've got him and Hardik Pandya in at the end of an innings, that might be quite a nice pair. But yeah, I don't know really.
Well, I think with
Hardik,
with Rahul Tewatia, the only like real glimmer of him being amazing was a couple of seasons ago when he hit Sheldon Cottrell for like 20 something runs off and over, 29 I think it was. Like that was really brutal, and it meant that Kings 11 lost the game, which I hated. But other than that, we haven't really seen him do anything. And yeah, I think there are some gaps, but hopefully they can piece it together and we can have some good IPL competition. I think we're going to wrap it up there. So if you liked what we just said, or if you hated it, I don't care. Please leave a like rating. Please subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tell us what we said wrong. What is your favourite Gujarat Titans potential 11? And do you think they really have gaps? So yeah, let us know down below and we'll see you guys
later.
okay. Yeah, we'll see you later.